Hey everybody, this is Lalo and this is podcast J.E.S.Kidding. This following podcast is a continuation of the last session, and if you listen, we left it as a cliffhanger as I was doing a rebuttal. So sit tight and listen to this session that is part 2 of the last podcast.
That shit's gone.
Hold on. Lalo, rebuttal.
Okay, so going back to what Chris, because what you're basically saying is communism. That's what it is. Universal, everybody gets paid the same. And I don't know if you have read the Communist Manifesto. If you haven't,
No.
You can finish it like about an hour or two. It's not a lot to read. It's just you're sort of reading a little into old English, but you can still finish it in one day. We live in a society or in a country where, depending on the state or the county, it takes more to live. You know, the cost of living is more. Yeah. I do agree in the concept of universal pay, because there's a lot of people out there who just went to school because they want, like, I'm using doctors. I always use doctors as an example. You have a lot of doctors who really don't give a fuck about the patient. They're just there for the money. You got a lot of people who got pushed by families or just family tradition to become a lawyer. You got to become this because it's the money. That's where the money goes. Yeah. You know, as minorities, we hear that from our parents. You know, you should do this because it's money. It's money. You should go into something that you're gonna be passionate about, because you actually end up doing the job way better. Yeah. Right.
Right. When you want to be there. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So if Juan wants to be a mechanic, he should get paid the same as someone that wants to be a doctor. But and this is where I get, well, you know, like, how could a mechanic get paid more or get paid the same thing as a doctor? You're doing it because you enjoy doing that. The moment
but that doesn't value the job more.
No, but the thing is, everybody should be doing something that they enjoy doing, because you get people to say, well, you're gonna get a lot of lazy people.
But because so if you're a person who loves to work with customers and is working at Target, you're saying that motherfucker, because he loves to work at Target and work with customers, he should make as much as a doctor? No, sir. I don't think so.
But
he loves. But you know what I'm saying, right? Am I wrong for saying that?
No, but you do have a lot of doctors out there around the world that go to other countries and they're being doctors and doing surgeries for free.
Absolutely.
That's what they're being passionate about.
I'm not arguing that.
Do you think that there's doctors out there, they're charging hella money, and at the end of the day, they don't even give a fuck about
I agree. I listen. I'm not telling you that's not a fact. That's absolutely a fact. There's definitely a good amount of doctors and lawyers and, as now, presidents that don't give a rat's ass about what they're doing for their community and for their country. Yes. But you can't sit here and tell me because a motherfucker actually enjoys doing his job, he should make more than a motherfucker who's actually helping somebody. Now, whether that doctor is genuinely wanting to help somebody doesn't take away from the fact that he's actually helping somebody. Does that make sense? So you can't sit here and tell me that this cashier, because he loves his job, should make the same amount as a doctor who doesn't love his job, but he is helping, even though he doesn't love it, but he's still helping. No, that can't be. You can't tell me that the cashier should be getting paid the same as a doctor.
In every society, there's jobs for everything. You can't just not have cashier. You just cannot have people that cut the grass.
You're telling me that a doctor. You're telling me that a doctor who doesn't want to be a doctor should be valued the same as a cashier who wants to be a cashier?
Yeah, why not?
Well, because a doctor is actually going to save your life.
Nah, hold up.
What the fuck is a cashier going to do for you?
Hold on, I'm not done. So I get the fact that a doctor. I get the fact that obviously a doctor has to go through the education, and that education was not free, and it takes money. And then by the time the doctor graduates, he has to pay his own debt. And this is why education should be free.
I agree. I'm agree with you. Education should be free. I think it's bullshit. Yeah. That we maybe not free, but the the amount of money that, at least in the United States, these students pay, I think it's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, they just get.
They
get a high degree and then just end up.
And this is why you got a lot of people who graduate and they don't give a fuck about their job. They just need to get the job to finish paying off the debt. But
that still doesn't mean that still doesn't mean that a doctor is valued the same way as a cashier.
Okay, so let's say in San Jose, everybody should get paid a good amount of money to be able to live here. We live in a city that not even with 3 jobs, and the report came out yesterday.
Absolutely, you're right.
Even if somebody had 3 jobs, it's not even enough for a down payment.
You got to make at least.
You think that's fair?
No, absolutely not. But I don't.
We're all valuable. We're all valuable citizens of this city, and we can't afford to live here.
No, I agree. But it still doesn't. This still doesn't justify why a cashier should make the same as a fucking doctor.
Okay, then. Okay, so like Chris said, everything's going automated. There's gonna be certain jobs that maybe are gonna be obsolete.
I'm gonna hit it like you, like this. You're a nurse, right, Chris? Do you think a cashier deserves your pay?
So this is why I beg the question.
Nope. Easy, yes or no?
I'm gonna say no, only because lives are involved.
No,
but I don't devalue. No. You asked me
know what you're saying. I know where you're going. I know what you're saying. You're not gonna. I know where you're going with that. You're about to go with. I'm not saying that his job isn't
any less.
Right. But
is your job any less than the actual doctor that's doing the surgery? The doctor is not spending his time.
But that's a lot closer, Lalo.
Taking care of all the patients.
But that's a lot closer. You're comparing now a nurse to a doctor. That's a lot closer.
But it's a lot closer.
Well, there are levels of responsibility that keep going up.
But there are essential jobs for a society to keep functioning.
Hold on. Like I think everything is an essential job.
Can I ask a stupid question?
No.
Lalo, I totally understand what you're saying. It's like it's that concept of if you enjoy what you're doing, you're not working a day in your life. Correct?
Yeah.
But in this world, who would want to be like a septic tank cleaner?
Exactly. Who wants to be a?
I honestly ask
who wants to be picking up shit?
Hold up, but like going back to where we are right now as a society, all these little jobs are being taken by automation. That's something that could be taken care of by a fucking robot.
We're gonna get to a place where there's so much automation.
Yes. That's a job that can be done by a robot. But do you really think we have that technology?
We're getting close.
We're getting there.
I mean, sure, we might,
but not yet. So for the time being.
Well,
listen, that technology that you speak of isn't used for the daily functions. It's used for military use.
Wow.
So there's no point in even saying that we have that technology. Yes, we have that technology.
I only point out that because there are jobs that a lot of people don't want to do. Right. Obviously, like
picking shit in the fucking field.
Well, hold up. So that guy, the guy or the girl or whoever it is that is taking care of the job of cleaning all the septic tanks. Why is that guy doing that job? Could it be because he never had enough money to pay for education? Because it's always because I did not have enough funding or I didn't have the support. If education was free, that guy girl that's cleaning those septic tanks, if education was free, he or she could have gone to school, gained a career, and become a doctor.
Okay, Balalo.
Okay.
No, hold on. I'm gonna hit you with this. Okay, I hear what you're saying, Balalo. You are a person who has gone through the ringers, man. You have gone through it, and you have, being who you are and your status and whatnot, you have gone through more than most Americans have. And you're telling me that the struggles you have gone through, that fucking white boy who's working at Lucky's as a fucking cashier deserves the same amount of money that you do? When you yourself,
but that's not what I'm saying with universal basic income.
No.
Right?
But what I'm saying is, you didn't have an easy way to get your education get paid for, right? You had to struggle.
Yeah, it took me 10 years to finish school.
You did it yourself, being who you are. And you're telling me that you think that a motherfucker who has it easy deserves the same pay as you do? Come on.
Okay, so
come on, let's be realistic.
So this is why I started by saying that it depends on the state of the county, because at least here in San Jose or any city, you should be able, any kind of job should pay you enough to actually.
That I agree with.
To stay alive in
But I don't agree
city.
with the fact that.
But that's a wage thing, right?
Right.
That's a wage.
Thing.
You know, if let's say right now, even to rent a one single room or studio in San Jose costs $2,000.
It's about $1,200.
You should be able to get paid at least that minimum.
Right.
Find the minimum medium in the city.
I agree with that.
And at least be able to get paid that enough.
Right.
You know,
I agree with that.
Without having to get three jobs.
Listen, I agree with that.
Okay.
But I don't agree that the fact that this dude who didn't even try to educate himself and had it easier than you did should get paid more than you.
Well, this is what I also believe. Because you are always going to come across those people who are, you know what, I don't want to go to school. I don't want to do nothing. You're going to come across those kind of people. I mean, we're human beings.
I'm one of them. I ain't going to lie to you. I'm one of them.
You're going to find out those people
I'm definitely one of them. And I'll tell you right now, I don't. That's the same.
Hold on.
Hold on. I'm one of those persons who didn't. I'm not the school person. I'm not. But I'm not gonna sit here and try to say that I should make the same amount of money as you do.
No, but I mean, like you're always gonna come across those people, no matter what percentage of that population is.
Right.
You're always gonna get those people like I don't want to get no training. Even when the training is given to you, I don't want it.
Right.
School is free. It's only 3 weeks. I don't want to do it.
Right.
There are gonna be those people, and unfortunately, just because of that minority, that small percentage of those people, it always tips the scale. And you got people that say, "Well, people are gonna become lazy," because that's what every time they talk about socialism, that's the first thing that right wing people say. Oh, well, people are gonna get lazy and not want to work, and they're still gonna get money. Unfortunately,
do you not think that's true?
I'm not saying it's not true, but I'm not saying it's the vast majority of people. It's never at least 10% of the population of any given place. Unfortunately, we're human beings. We're not machines, and no economic system is ever going to be 100% correct. Yeah. You know, but we live in a society that it is the 1% that's basically stepping down everybody else.
But the 1% doesn't matter because nobody in this goddamn room and nobody who's probably listening to this goddamn podcast is the 1%. So that doesn't fucking matter.
And if you are, please sponsor the show.
Absolutely. You know, at the end of the day, listen, all I'm saying is you work for it, you deserve to get paid more.
I believe in that too, absolutely. But
you work for it, you deserve to get paid more.
He's this Asian guy running for president, and that's his... I don't think
he shouldn't make it. If he's Asian, no good.
He's just trying to create awareness for the idea. Yeah.
He's Asian, you said?
I forget his name. His platform is
big thumbs down. I wish I had 4 thumbs to give it 4 thumbs down, motherfucker.
So even when the Asian guy's trying to give you money, no.
No, fuck no. I'd rather be broke. Let me die. Let me die, motherfucker.
I don't want any of that.
Hey, let me die, motherfucker.
But shit. I guess he's running just to create awareness for the idea of UBI or whatever it's called. Mm-hmm. The argument is because of where technology is going, automation is going to be a thing. A lot of jobs are going to get phased out.
What you're talking about? Yeah.
Well, a lot of jobs are going to be phased out.
No, yeah,
soon.
for sure.
So, just like with high school education, I guess back in the day it wasn't a guaranteed thing, so the government stepped in and said everybody needs to be at least getting a GED. Is that the same for basic level of or basic living expenses? Or
PhD doesn't guarantee a job now.
Doesn't guarantee a job now, and so is the next step up college degree? So, like paying for college for people's. I really don't know the answers here. It's just I'm curious because. Who's to say what's going to happen? Things change so quickly in a few years. 10 years ago.
So I don't know. You heard the news yesterday or 2 days ago. They reported that the Trump administration is moving forward with a plan that there's going to be a cap on how much student loans can be given, which basically means that only wealthy people are going to be able to continue. Because if there's a cap on how much you can borrow for education, and tuition keeps going up all over the country.
Yeah. Not as many people are going to be educated.
Yeah, well, not that many people are going to finish.
Yeah. Well, so what would a society look like if people's basic needs were met? Now, I'm not saying let's be socialist, whatever. I don't know if universal basic income equates to socialism. I really don't. But the idea is everybody's basic needs are met. So if you really like being a cashier at, Target or whatever,
Right.
continue to do that. But if you really want to be a doctor, then you continue schooling past your universal basic income. You just continue your education to get to that place. I don't know if that's how it'll play out. I'm just curious, is the standard of living, just the way the world is, keeps having to move the bar up.
Right.
So is that the natural progression, just like before, where a GED used to be something that not everybody got? Now it's
Yeah, it is.
You know what, Chris? You always break it down to the most animalistic kind of basic human instinct and stuff, right?
Yeah.
But what capitalism is, though, too, is, and this is just saying it for what it is, the strongest survive.
That's
Just
true.
like in the wild.
That's true. It's evolution.
It's evolution. It's like only the strong survive.
Yeah.
Right? So if you don't have the drive, say, out in the wild to go hunting and get your shit,
Yeah.
you're not going to live.
Yeah.
You know? It's like if you don't fucking have the grind and the shit to work hard, you won't survive.
Yeah.
You'll be homeless.
Yeah.
You know? So it's actually kind of interesting because I get what you're saying. In a fucking perfect world, fuck yeah. We'd all be doing whatever the fuck we like.
Right.
Yeah.
And,
We don't
getting the same amount
you get
of
same amount
money and food
being fair.
as a lawyer and, a doctor.
I'm saying baseline's covered so that people aren't dying as maybe they are. I
Yeah,
don't know.
but Chris, let's be
then you
realistic. Hold on.
could
But let's
after
be
that.
But let's be realistic, Chris. No matter what the baseline is, you as a human, you always seem to want more than what the baseline is. Does that make sense?
It's
Like-
it's human nature
Like
to
what I'm
want
saying is,
more.
Yeah.
like whatever your paycheck is now,
You're gonna
nobody,
want more. Yeah.
you're always living more than that because you see your paycheck grow a little bit, so you add more to what you're spending and what your wasting is. So you say, what the baseline is to survive, but what is the baseline to survive? Because you put it here,
It's relevant.
or the government,
Yeah.
or the country puts it here, but you tend to, because
more.
it's here,
They're
you
gonna
live
want more.
here. And then the government
you're
again
saying.
puts it here, and then you tend to go because
ask for that
exactly
the next one up.
because and that's where I come, and that's where I go to the whole point of, do you deserve to be getting the same shit as a doctor being a cashier? Absolutely not. Because if you're living, listen, I'm not hating on anybody that wants to be a cashier. If that's the fuck what makes you happy.
Someone's listening to this right now. Single tear down their fucking motherfuckers. I love it.
What I'm saying is,
listening to us while they're cashing. I should quit right now.
Fuck these fools.
so somebody at Walmart just killed themselves. What I'm saying is, if you're happy
cashierophobe.
being that, listen. What I'm saying is, if you're happy being that, more power to you.
Can I ask you something? And
Hold on. If you're happy being that, more power to you.
Yeah.
But don't expect more than that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when that's where I was going with it, Lalo, was that if you're a cashier, expect to live a cashier's life.
But you
don't expect that because you're a cashier and because you love it, I can still live the doctor's life. No, motherfucker, you ain't gonna have
it's
that
funny
life.
though.
But you do agree that at least if you choose to be a cashier, that you should be paid enough to survive in the
But
city.
what's enough? What's
Yes.
ever enough?
Yes.
Well,
What's
like I
ever
said,
enough?
I agree with
Because
enough
let me tell you, hold
enough
on.
to
Right now,
cover your rent.
hold on. Right now, the minimum wage here in this area is what, $15 an hour, right? And they're saying that you can live off of that. Can you live off of that?
I get paid $21 an hour and I can't.
Okay. So think about it. If they're saying you can live off of 15, but you can't. So what makes you think it's going to be any different when you're a cashier in the communism life, and then the doctor who's killing himself to be a doctor is saying, damn, that motherfucker who's a cashier who doesn't stress as much as I do, who doesn't have the same guilt and pressure that I do, he's making the same amount. So why the fuck should I be a doctor? You know what? I'm gonna be a fucking cashier.
But universal basic income isn't about people like a cashier and a doctor making the same amount of money.
Obviously, but that was the comparison I meant. That was the comparison I made because you
wouldn't it incentivize people who really like it to continue doing the thing they want to do, where other people, if their needs are met, they
but
can
at the end of the day, you never live that life because as a human, you're always gonna want more. No
I get that.
What.
No, I don't disagree with that. I think
you're
right,
always gonna want more.
The bar
so even
moving.
in a communism fucking life, you're a cashier and it's enough.
No, the bar
It's
does
enough
keep
to
moving.
make it.
No, I get that.
But you're not gonna live that life because you want more.
When you give everybody everything, I get that. The bar keeps moving. They're gonna ask for more.
But I don't think, Lalo, you're completely being a communist because all you're saying is, dude, at least have the bare minimum so a person with one job can afford to live. Yeah,
absolutely.
And I agree. But I just want to ask you this. I find your thinking fascinating. I love this discussion. I love where both sides are coming because I understand both sides. Mm-hmm. But let me ask you this:
fuck that.
In your world, side, okay, let's just I just give you a magic wand, right, Lalo? I go, fucking, whatever you choose to do, it's gonna happen.
Whatever you want to be,
yeah, it's gonna happen.
I know you're not gonna sit here and tell me. Make me a fucking cashier. Fuck no.
But
that was just an example.
That was an example, and I get it. But let me ask you this: in this world, in this system, do everybody get to live where they want?
Are you talking communism?
Yeah. Like, here's the thing. Let's just say, okay, you got a group of people that want to live by the beach. Okay. What if everybody wants to live by the beach?
Well, obviously there's gonna be limitations because you can't. Let's say this room right here.
Right.
Do you wanna? If you wanna fit 50 people, can you? If you wanted to fit 50 people in this room right now, where we're recording.
But I get it. But the point of communism is supposed to be that it's fair.
But you
no. See, this is the
okay. Yeah, and I'm asking an honest question because I'm very
biggest, this is the biggest misconception. We all have an idea of what communism is, or the idea of it, because of school, what people have said, movies, TV, whatever, the media. But how many people have actually sat down and read the Communist Manifesto? The Communist Manifesto is not a rule book. It's not like the Constitution that has specific guidelines, right? Technically it was a pamphlet that it was just too big. It became a small book, but it's sort of like a guideline of an idea. The whole point of the Communist Manifesto is that if you work, let's say an example, you work at a Ford factory, right? You're working, and this is back in the late 1800s where there was no labor laws, there was no regulations. You just fucking work till your boss told you, okay, let's call it a day. You go home, come back next morning, and start again. The whole point of it is that you got workers who were working at factories or whatever. They were not getting paid enough money to even buy the product they were making, right? That's the whole point of where the Communist Manifesto came. So you got workers that can't even afford the thing that they're making.
Yeah.
So they should become the owners of the production, of their own production, right? It should be up to them to decide how much a vehicle costs them. So if between 20 people they're making a car and they notice, you know what, this thing is going to cost us more, they should be the ones to set the standard of the price, and not up to one single person to say, you know what, you guys are all getting paid $20, but I'm selling that vehicle for $20,000 and I'm taking 80% of it and the rest of it is going to go. It's like, wait, how is that fair? How is it that you're taking most of the money and we who are actually building the vehicle, we're getting paid pennies and we cannot even afford the cars that we're making? That's the whole point of communism, that everybody's gonna get enough money to even afford the things that they're producing. So us, like an example of San Jose, right, or the United States, or we're all here contributing to the city, and whichever way you are, you know, you work for a construction company, you work for a hospital, I work for a flea market. We're all contributing to the city, and yet we cannot afford to live in the city. How is that fair? That is the whole point.
Yeah, I get your point and stuff. I think what you're trying to say and stuff, right? You're not necessarily saying that when you guys have, again, we're going back to the fucking cashier doctor thing and stuff, right? It's like the cashier should be earning at least enough to live, at least. Yeah. But you're not saying that the doctor shouldn't be getting more, right?
No. Obviously, he has.
Yeah, I think that's what I think that's what the point of what Salo, who by the way is taking a piss right now, is what he's missing. He's thinking you're saying they should be earning the same. You're saying there should be a baseline, and then like
that's what I'm asking.
That's the minimal, because you should have one job and be able to live. But if you're a doctor, yeah, you can live better because you're doing more. Obviously, I think that's where the point that Salo's missing. You guys agree? Do you agree with that?
That's what I bring up. That's why I bring it up.
Yeah, and the other thing about communism, if you read and you follow the idea, because it's an idea. Any government, political, they're all ideologies. They're not set in stone. But the whole point is that it helps to eliminate people that take exploitation of other people. Which capitalism kind of
built on that.
Is built on exploitation of people to a certain degree.
But is universal basic income just an offshoot of communism?
Well, I'm sure a lot of people will call it that. Right now, we live in an era that, unfortunately, is kind of like going back to the 1950s, that you don't want to throw out the word communism because it still has a lot of negative connotation, but it's not as bad as the 1950s where the FBI had I think they used to call it a blacklist or an X list. So right now with socialism, socialism is a big bad word because of Trump put it out there in the
they
State of the
softened it
Union.
with the word
Democratic. It's not as bad as it used to be.
No,
but
it wasn't.
It's still...
But they're trying to smear it again. Our government, our country, we have socialist stuff in our country. Postal service is socialist.
Yeah.
Right. We all pay a small percentage, but if you want to mail something, you're not paying any more than your neighbor. We're all paying about the same.
Firefighters.
The police department, park services, all this stuff are getting is social services. If your house burns, if your house is burning, if you didn't pay your fees, the fire department is gonna come over and say, "Hey, did you pay your fees?" No. Oh, fuck it.
That's a great point.
It's basic, again, part of the basic living standard.
Yeah.
I don't know when people say, income, but living standard.
When people say, "Oh, socialism is horrible," like, they don't even fucking know that some of your taxes, are going to those services. The military, in a way, it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you're not picking and choosing. You know, if something happens to your house.
That's a great point. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. And do you know that, okay, do you know what happens if you or I, right now, something happens, ambulance comes, we pay like $2,500.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
To get to the hospital, right? But if it happens to a homeless man, the state picks it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ain't that some shit?
Did you hear this whole thing with Amazon trying to move to New York? This is where this is very much in this fucking subject right here.
Yes, it is.
Because Amazon was trying to have a headquarters in New York, right? New York says, "We'll pay you to come here." Actually, I think what they said was they're going to give them a tax break, right?
So it's basically how the NFL gets stadiums everywhere. So Amazon was hunting around the whole country for a new headquarters. It was sort of like a contest. It was like a contest that only states or cities can get into it. And they were all over the country, and it came down to New York, Washington, D.C., and I forgot the other place. There was a third place, and ultimately New York won. But what it meant is that the state was going to give them incentives, basically tax cuts, just how the Levi Stadium was built. They were pulling funds that were supposed to go to something else for this. So New York was the one that was able to pay Amazon to move in. That's what it comes down to. And it was exactly how the NFL and all these major leagues.
I heard this that Amazon was gonna get a tax break. So they were supposed to.
The incentives.
They were supposed to. Según, they were gonna bring in about $27 billion in revenue and stuff, right? But they were gonna get a tax break of like $3 billion and stuff, right? So AOC, her name Alexandria
yeah.
Ocasio-Cortez. Yes,
She's hot.
So
Yes, she is.
So she was like,
oh, I know who you're talking about.
And I heard both.
I know who you're talking about.
Both sides. I hear both sides.
Hey, hold on. I shoot up her club. she could have my baby.
But go ahead.
Absolutely. Continue.
But okay, I heard somebody say, they were like, dude, she said, okay, they're gone, and that's great because we were gonna give them, that $3 billion, we could take it and use it for the city or whatever, right? But people were like, no, people were on the other side were going, no, they were gonna bring in $27 billion, but we were gonna give them a break of $3 billion. Right?
Yeah, I don't know about
that. So
dude.
both sides of the argument is this, okay? The fucking people that don't want them in there are kind of, as to my understanding, we're saying exactly what we're living in right now. Look at what we got right now. We got Facebook. We got Instagram. We got all these tech companies, eBay, Adobe, Yahoo, fucking Intel, all these people, right? As you were saying, Lalo, that you have to have 3 jobs to live here. So people that were protesting it going over there were like, we don't want to get fucking priced out. It's already fucking, New York is already expensive.
It's the third most expensive place in the whole country.
So if you bring in a fucking company like this, we're all fucked. Just kind of like we are here.
Yeah.
You're going to need 3 fucking jobs to afford an apartment. You know, that's what we don't want.
It's like the same.
And then the people on the other side are going, but they're going to bring in so much fucking money here.
Yeah, but that money is not going to go to everybody. It's going to go just for Amazon. So it's the same thing that's going on with Google that's moving to San Jose. That's what San Jose has, the biggest movement right now. So like, we don't want Google here.
That's free Wi-Fi. I don't give a fuck.
The whole thing is, yeah, people will argue they're going to bring jobs. Yeah, but your average Joe is not going to qualify. Trust me, I've been applying to Google Jobs and Facebook and all these places here in the Bay Area since September. Have any of them called me back? Yeah, they're going to bring jobs, but only certain people are going to be able to qualify. Right. Plus, it's gonna raise the value of it, and that's a statewide thing. Not just here. Google is just a city thing, which sounds it's already fucking expensive. Imagine if Google moves in.
No, absolutely. The what do they call it? The fact that Google moves into San Jose,
it's already raising the value.
More expensive. Everything gets more expensive.
Yeah,
absolutely, and it's gonna make it tougher for us who, because we lived here in the Bay Area for so long, have a little bit of establishment, and it's a little bit easier for us to live here because we've lived here for so many years. We have a little bit of roots, but with Google moving in, and I'll tell you right now, even with Apple, that new fucking
Apple campus.
Donut,
Apple donut, you fucking UFO shit. That literally is a block away from the company I work for, literally, and listen to this. Listen how ridiculous this is. The other day, it was a Wednesday morning. I left my house.
What time was it?
7 a.m.
What was the weather like?
Fucked up. And let me tell you, I cannot emphasize this enough of how much bullshit this was. It took me from my house to get to the Lawrence Expressway exit, which is one exit before Wolf Avenue, which is in Cupertino. On a regular Saturday, Sunday, even, 11 o'clock during the week hours, 15-minute drive at most. 10 to 15-minute drive. It took me 2 fucking hours to get me. I was supposed to start at 8 a.m. that day. Luckily, hold on.
I didn't even show up.
No, luckily I have.
They're still waiting for me.
Yeah, luckily I have. At least that day that it happened, I had the cushion.
Luckily, I have wings,
dude. I had the cushion where I could come in a little bit later, but I was scheduled to be in that day at 8 a.m. and I left my house maybe like 6:45. I was like, "Fuck, it's not gonna take me an hour and 15 to get there."
It's not that far.
It really isn't. It took me 2 fucking hours, and I'm gonna tell you right now, guys. The whole way there, I was like cheering and hoping for an accident because I was like, that's the only reason why it should take me to like. I needed a
like, I want to see blood on the highway.
Straight out. I needed some type of justification for for a 15-minute drive to take 2 hours to my job. I needed some type of justification.
That's become a reality here, though,
No,
right? Like
yeah,
that's,
and you know what the justification in my mind was? I better see a dead body on the motherfucking freeway. Straight out. I was like, because this is ridiculous.
somebody had better died.
Imagine
Hold on.
Google moving to downtown.
No,
Well, let me ask you this, Lalo. In your opinion, right? Okay, you have Amazon, right? That's like fucking. We're the biggest company in the fucking world, right? And we got fucking people fighting for us to go into their city and stuff, right? Why not? And I'm bringing this up as an example, right? Like, for example, like Michigan. That at one point,
Flint.
I think Flint, right?
Move to Flint.
Flint, Michigan, yeah.
They actually can help that city. come back.
Absolutely.
I this is a naive fucking like a little 5-year-old fucking question here, but why won't a company like that or Google that has got money to burn, why don't they fucking move to a fucking area like that needs the jobs? You need like
I have
what?
an answer.
1 million?
Because
You need hold on. You need like 1 million hands to do all these packages, and you need a bunch of workers, right? You need laborers.
because that's not
and
what
all that
business.
shit.
That's not what business is.
Okay. Why don't they move there?
Because
Because-
they want to get paid to move into the city.
Yep.
They don't care about job creation. They don't care about that. They want to move into a city knowing.
Según Bezos or whatever,
No.
he's like a Trump fucking hater too, right?
Hold on though, but you got to remember.
Well,
hold on,
that's just
you got to
on a
remember.
personal level.
Hold on, you got to remember what people say and what people really want are two
The
different
public
things.
opinion. They're not gonna move. That's what the whole
Absolutely
incentive.
not.
Like tax cuts are incentives. They want to be able to move into a city without having to actually put money into building the building, without having to worry about, you know what, I'm not gonna pay taxes on any amount of money that we make for 10, 20, 30 years. They want to move in for free. They basically just want to one day show up and let's get to work.
But you know what? In the sense of, again, this is a very naive, very childish question, right? Or childish fucking thought here, right? But if you fucking go, dude, look, listen, we're going to market this. And I'm going to, Amazon, we'll fucking build your community. Right?
No, you just said the wrong word. We are going to build your community.
Yeah,
You don't have to bullshit.
No, as a marketing thing. You should buy more from Amazon because we've rebuilt this town. We've rebuilt this state.
Right, but that's different.
You know what? They have a thing now, right? Where I'm using Amazon as an example because they were like moving around and they're biggest company in the world right now, right? But if you put like Amazon.com or whatever, you would like a certain percentage goes to like your favorite charity, and you get to choose your charity, right? Because you're like, oh, we're about the people and stuff. It's like, what better advertisement than, dude, we fucking rebuilt Flint, Michigan.
No,
yeah, but do you hold on? But do you think they're gonna make the same amount of
I
money
think with that marketing? You give people who are already buying your shit.
Here's the thing.
Want to buy more?
No,
it's a marketing. In my aspect, it's a marketing.
Hold on, Lalo. Here's the thing. What you fail to realize is that if you have 100,000 people investing in Flint, Michigan, and 100 people invested in the Bay Area, they're still gonna pay more in the Bay Area than in Flint, Michigan. So why the fuck would you move all the way out there? The money is here. This is the money.
If you bring the money with you, right? You bring the engineers, you bring all that.
That thing
you could rebuild it.
They don't want to put the money. I get it. Yes, Amazon has enough money to move to Flint, Michigan, and actually,
I'm not saying. And let me be very clear. I'm not saying uproot from here and just move the fuck over there.
Right.
I'm just saying, build a headquarters. You're still making money over here. You're still making money in fucking.
But that's not. But again, you're missing it. In the Bay Area,
I would only help it.
No, in the Bay Area, even if you have I'm gonna put it in bigger numbers. If you have 500,000 people in Flint, Michigan investing, 200,000 in the Bay Area in the Santa Clara County still makes more money and still brings in more money than the motherfuckers in Flint at 500,000. I guarantee you that. Why the fuck move? Why leave?
I would argue this that the cost of living here and all this rent and your warehouse costs more here. you're paying less.
Yeah, but
they make that
Somewhere,
over
some-
tenfold.
But like the thing is, it's all about the incentive. Flint, Michigan, right now, I'm telling you, their property value is so low that all of us could probably buy a big block, but there's no jobs. Amazon does not want to spend a single penny. They could buy the whole fucking city, change the name of the city to Amazon, but they won't because Flint cannot give the same incentives
Exactly.
that the Bay
As somewhere
Area,
else.
New York City.
What you fail to realize, Juan, is that the money is here. This is where the money.
I get it though. Like, but I'm saying though, like, when you're a company like that you got money to burn, you got money to take a chance to go. Even if this fails, we're still
But
the biggest company in
what
the
chance
world.
are they taking? If they go to, if they're you don't think they're gonna make money by coming to San Jose?
They're already in San.
I know, but do you think they're not making money?
No, you're missing my point, dude.
No,
when I'm
I get your point, but the point is that
You see what I'm saying, right? Lalo?
I get. Unfortunately,
At the
get
end of
it.
the day-
it's one of the bad things about capitalism. It's one of the big loophole. It's about the whole exploitation. I get your point.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, they have enough money to buy the whole city, change the name of the city. They could
But they
become the
won't.
government.
They could name
of the
it
city.
Google instead of Flint City from here on out. They could change it to
But
Google.
the
Period.
thing is, it's the city has which city can give them more money.
And
So they're going to New York.
They got kicked out. They ended.
Well, that's where
they
this
didn't get
discussion
kicked out.
started.
Right.
They got so much negativity that eventually Amazon say, they're gonna look for another city.
And that's why they're moving to San Jose.
No.
San Jose.
That's-
San Jose was
I'm
al-
so
no.
lost. I have
San
no
Jose,
fucking clue what the
San
fuck.
Jose was already. That's
They're
happening.
already here. They're from.
Yeah.
No, I know they're here.
No,
but
actually, they're
you're
from
saying
Seattle.
they're trying to make a.
No,
But
Yeah,
they have a
but-
bunch of warehouses here.
No matter what happened in New York, San Jose was still happening.
Okay.
That was a
they're
definite.
actually from Seattle, aren't they?
But
Yeah.
I mean,
The headquarters. They got a bunch of
no,
warehouses here.
Their headquarters is here. The idea started in Seattle,
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
just like
the
Starbucks.
the actual foundation and
is
it
all in
growing
Bay.
was here.
Huh.
Yeah, this is the .com.
Yeah, I mean it is. That's why Zuckerberg said Facebook and Instagram and
Is
whatever the
Zuckerberg from
fuck
here?
he has.
That's why Zuckerberg didn't stay where he was from. They told him you gotta go to the Bay Area. That's where you want to go.
Yeah, that's why. That's
Where's
why.
he from?
Well, I
So
don't
someone
know.
from the East Coast.
That's why the guy from Tesla he came to the Bay
Elon
because
Musk?
he knows why going.
What is it
around?
about the Bay that makes everybody come?
We're progressive.
Exactly.
We're willing
Thank you,
to put
Lalo.
we're willing to put the money into that kind of
We're the Bay Area right now and has been for a minute has, like Lalo said, very progressive to the point where it's like we don't care about the risk. We just do. We
Okay.
just do.
Because
And
none of us asked to be here.
no,
I didn't ask
absolutely
to be
not.
here.
We're
I'm
just
here.
We're
I was
just we're
born
just
here.
going with it.
Yeah.
But like Tesla, like Google, like Amazon, like Instagram, like Facebook, like Snapchat, the guys just said, you know what? Let's take a chance. This is it. This is the .com area. Let's see what happens.
It all
And
started.
worked.
It
And
all
it worked.
started because IBM. IBM was the first
you go.
major technological company that moved in,
Okay.
and IBM has been in San
Do
Jose
you
since.
okay? Hold on.
Zuckerberg
Before
is
that,
from White
do
Plains, New
you
York.
guys remember where the original IBM was here in San Jose?
Story Road, right next to the.
It was on Story.
Nope. It was on.
Downtown.
Nope. It was on Monterey and Barry and Blossom Hill.
Get the
You know
fuck
the
out.
wa- you
Is
know
it Carter now? Yes. Dude.
Before we
and I'll tell you why. And I'll tell you how I know. Because when my dad first got here to the United States back in 1980,
something.
he worked as an illegal electrician for IBM, getting paid in the 1980s. I think he said he was getting paid like $12 an hour, dude. Obviously an illegal.
Damn, that was a lot of money back then.
Oh,
12
absolutely, absolutely. He
Yeah.
was, and that was nothing because I remember him telling me that the electricians who were legal were making a crazy amount, like $20 an hour, and that was like wow, right? But at the end of the day, IBM.
IBM started it, but then everybody started.
Well,
to-
because they saw their success. IBM hella blew up.
IBM and HP. HP
Yeah.
was another big
Well,
one.
HP was the first company that was built up out of a garage.
Actually,
that,
the company that I work for, they deferred from HP.
Fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But either way,
and
that's why I was saying, like Juan's point is good. Why not move to another city, another state where it charges less? But at the end of the day, it's like I said, 200,000 in Flint supporting it, and 100,000 or even 50,000 supporting it here in the Bay. We will still bring up more money than Flint.
Yeah,
it is what it is.
And right now, I bet you in Flint, if they knew that there was a plan of Amazon moving in there, 100% of the public will support it.
And I guarantee you, they still wouldn't make more. That still wouldn't bring more money.
That was my point in the marketing. It's like, dude, support us because we're supporting. Literally, all these fucking people all these companies that market, like, oh, we support your community, we support your community. It's like, if you really did that, you could truly say, dude, we support your community, and everybody who's already buying Amazon will buy even more because you're guilt free.
You tend to forget what I told you earlier. When it comes to business, I don't give a rat's ass who the fuck I'm helping and who's gonna help me. Where am I gonna make the most money?
That's what I'm saying.
In Flint,
that's
Michigan,
more of a moneymaker.
or in San Jose, California.
That's more of a moneymaker because in the marketing aspect, you're taking away all guilt of big corporations and that. You're saying, "Fuck, dude,
Juan,
fucking build that town."
Juan, if I told you, Juan, you created one of the most amazing base in the world, right? And I said you can either go to Flint, Michigan, to start your fucking company and make 20,000.
Yeah, you're already missing the point. I didn't say to start.
No, it doesn't matter.
I'm not saying you're giving up your headquarters at all.
Let's just say you were established already.
All I said is expand, not build.
Let's say you're expanding. You were in Mountain View, and now you need to expand. And I said you can either go to Flint, Michigan to expand, or to San Jose. And I said Flint, Michigan, you're only gonna make 20 mil more. You go to San Jose, you're gonna make 50 mil. What are you gonna do?
Yeah,
it's simple business decision. You're gonna make a lot more in San Jose with half of the people, with a third of the people, than 100% at Flint, Michigan. It's
which is crazy to me because
why does that? It totally is.
It's a geographical location that makes more value. We just
right.
The way you, Juan, the way you're seeing it, you're looking through the economics of that, like the possible 1930s, 1940s during that boom of factories just blowing up everywhere. Because in those days, factories were not really looking for that quick turnaround.
The aspect that I'm looking at is that I'm not saying you're giving up your shit here. I'm not at all. What I'm saying is that it's actually an extra money maker because you're bringing engineers over there and go, yeah, San Jose. Because let's say you're a Google. Let's say you're a Google, right? And let's say you're bringing engineers. You go, dude, bring to San Jose. Cost of living is through the roof. Or take it, or you could come work at my or at one of my campuses in like Flint, Michigan, where you could buy a fucking mansion for like $100,000.
You're looking at it like as how things happened, like I say, in the 1930s. That's why GM moved to Flint. That's why Ford opened a bunch of factories, and a lot of like there was one in Milpitas, when Milpitas was basically still like nothing but like open field. But in today's economy, you have to think about the quick turnaround. And unfortunately, I mean, I get it. That's how. If you study companies after years after the New Deal, that's why you have factories that moved to Flint. GM moved to Flint. You know, GM basically was everybody in Flint worked for this one company. And Ford was everywhere, but unfortunately because of NAFTA, and that goes into a completely different topic, but NAFTA killed that era of what you're talking about, because before NAFTA, that's how business is thought about. Before, they had to move somewhere where the land was cheap, people needed jobs. Cities grew up on that. That's why after GM left...
I'm a monkey, so I don't know anything. Explain the NAFTA thing, because I've heard it thrown around before.
North America Free Agreement Treatment. So it's because of NAFTA that a lot of companies moved to Mexico because labor was cheap.
Yeah.
Not so much because the land was cheap, labor was cheap. So if you were paying somebody like Salo was saying, his dad, he was getting paid $12. In those days, was a lot of money.
Yeah.
So let's say right now to this era, the minimum wage here is $15. You have to pay people at least $15 an hour to build a car. But in Mexico, you pay them like nickels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Common sense is you spend the money that you would have spent on that labor, you spend it on the factories and the machinery, and the workers, you're paying them nickels.
Okay.
Eventually, it pays itself off, and then everything else is profit.
Okay.
So that's what happened in NAFTA. It was ratified January 1st, 1994. And that's why a lot of factories moved to Mexico.
And 94 was under
Bill Clinton.
It was a Democratic thing.
Yeah.
So it was incentivizing people to put money into outside of America?
Companies to invest money. Not people, companies to invest money south of the border because Mexican labor was cheaper.
Okay.
Keep in mind, none of those companies went north to Canada.
Okay.
Because their dollar is not that, it's really close to U.S. dollar in value.
Okay.
So if you wanted to go to Canada, might as well stay in the U.S.
Okay.
So whenever you talk about free trade agreements, always think about it's going to affect. It's always going to affect the workers.
Uh-huh.
Because you as a company owner, you want to be able to make more profit. And you do that by either paying cheaper material or both. Pay cheaper material and cheaper labor. That's why you also get a lot of like Indian people, Indian engineers.
Yeah.
You bring them over here. You give them visas to come and study in the U.S. But once they get a job, they can only make so much money.
There's like a cap on that?
Yeah. That's why a lot of educated Indians are going back to India. And India is building their own Silicon Valley.
Really?
Yeah. It's enough that it's changing the culture, it's changing the language.
Huh.
A big chunk of India is already speaking English. You go in there, it feels like you're in the U.S. Because instead of staying here in the U.S., they're taking their knowledge from here, going to India, and implementing their knowledge over there.
Oh, shit. I didn't know about that.
Oh, dude.
There's a lot of shit that I don't know what's going on. I'm just like...
And it's all thanks to capitalism.
Geographical location. There's a lot of shit going on. I don't fucking know.
It's thanks to capitalism, dude. So I actually think that we're planting the seeds of our own destruction.
Uh-huh.
That's one of the reasons also why the Roman Empire collapsed. There was too much wealthy people and too much peasants or underlings, and it got too much.
Like there's a negative return at some point where you can't sustain this.
Right now, there's not a fair balance.
Yeah, there's just too many for the people that are making money. For
it's
the
a
people
matter of
that
time.
Are not, it's an excess. I mean,
it's like a pressure cooker. Eventually, it's gonna blow. If this continues.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I can see the beginnings of that. I don't know if the whole fucking thing's going to fall apart.
It's going to still take a while, but...
With the idea of everything becoming automated, what do we do with the excess people that used to have jobs now?
And that's one of the things I always... even recently, people still talk about, like, immigrants are taking our jobs. How are we going to compete when they're taking jobs and they're paying less? So when I used to work at Apple, there's a Taco Bell down the street. And I used to go there almost every day. Eventually, the cashier, because it was always the same cashier, some white guy, really tall white guy. One day he disappeared. He disappeared the day they got self-checkout machines. And I was telling one of my coworkers, they're saying that us Mexicans or immigrants are taking their jobs. That guy got replaced by 2 computers.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that came to my mind. They took our jobs, but they keep blaming it on the same scapegoat. So we're gonna finish this episode. We're gonna do a quick takeaway. We're gonna start with Saulo.
If you're cashier, don't expect to get paid as a doctor.
My takeaway is I don't know what to think about anything, but just keep creating content. That's my hope. Do the thing that drives you into the universe. I don't know about how else the world works, but I'm happy when people create. So
I took away a lot, actually. I really enjoyed the discussion that Lalo and Salo had on capitalist versus communist. You know, like I understand both sides. I really do. And what I liked about that was I actually learned a lot from both sides. You know what I mean? Like it's very fascinating to me because I love learning shit. Like I love learning shit, you know, every day they say you learn shit, you know, but like I like your perspective, Lalo, and I understand both sides. So I really like that discussion that we had. I really do.
My takeaway, same thing. Yeah, you guys know me. I like to talk about politics and anything related to it. I do want to say that if you guys ever get a chance to buy the Communist Manifesto,
Read the manifesto.
read it. Every single person that I come across that always criticize the ideology, because that's what it is. It's an ideology. None of them have actually read it, and they all tell me, "Well, people say it's bad." I'm like, "Well, people could say that sky is red. Are you gonna believe them?"